Planning and building digital portals, smart cities and smart nations, and transforming our world as an intelligent planet have been a major focus of novel technologies and innovative development across industries. Successful translation and deployment of smart technologies into commercial products and services, as well as their social acceptance, require transdisciplinary commitments, cross-culture partnerships, and trans-continental support. Emphasis now lies on building innovative cities that use ICT and other means to improve quality of life, efficiency of urban operation and services, and competitiveness, while ensuring that it meets the needs of present and future generations with respect to economic, social, and environmental aspects. It is in this spirit we would like to introduce the topic of the first panel discussion of Communiqué15, Smart City and Sustainable Ecology, a transdisciplinary vision for concerted action.
To channelize and moderate the discussion, we have with us the moderator of the panel discussion, Mr. Kavan Mukhtiar, Senior Partner at Frost & Sullivan. I request, sir, to please take your seat on the stage. Mr. Kavan Mukhtiar has advised public as well as private sector clients on strategic consulting engagements covering growth strategies, mergers and acquisition, market entry, competitive strategies, and innovation management. Sir has also worked on projects covering financial feasibility, investment analysis, and new product launch strategies. Sir's recent work covers mega trends like urbanization, convergence, climate change, smart city, smart mobility, Internet of Things, its impact and opportunities for businesses. Sir has facilitated many workshops and has spoken at numerous events on trending topics. Sir has more than 19 years of business consulting, research, analysis, and leadership experience. Sir started his career at Frost & Sullivan in 1996 and currently oversees Frost & Sullivan's businesses across Asia Pacific. Sir has also been involved in setting the strategy and developing Frost & Sullivan's practice in various countries in Asia Pacific region. Sir, SITM welcomes you to Communiqué15.
Next, I would like to call upon the panel Mr. Kalol Hazra, independent consultant and mentor for startups in mobility, cloud, and IoT. With a rich experience of 25 years, Sir is currently engaged in consulting and mentoring startups to build solutions incorporating mobility, IoT, and smart city developments. Sir also supervises clients working on IT transformation projects to move them to a complete digitalized world. Prior to this, Sir headed the operations as Managing Director, India at CSG International, where his primary responsibility was to execute delivery of BSS solutions to clients across America, EMEA, and Asia Pacific. Sir has also worked in several other organizations spanning multiple divisions, groups such as Compaq, HP, and EDS, where he handled multiple responsibilities related to sales, technical support, e-business marketing, etc. Sir, we welcome you to Communiqué15.
Next, I would like to call upon stage Mr. Rahul Tulpale, Founder and Managing Director, Communiqué15, MEA Partner, Universal Reinsurance Brokers, DMCC, UAE. With a Masters of Science in Telecom Management from Oklahoma State University, USA, Sir has worked with several Fortune 500 companies in US, Europe, India, and Middle East, before starting his own venture in Dubai in 2008. Sir's company is a leading provider of end-to-end solutions for 2G, 3G, and 4G mobile communication and enterprise, ICT requirements to operators, network vendors, and clients across Middle East and African markets. Sir's venture is also a preferred partner for implementation of wireless services and other ICT solutions for UAE's Smart City program. Sir, your revered presence is an honor for us.
I would now take this opportunity to invite on the panel Mr. Arun Khazanchi, CEO at Videonetics Technologies. Sir is a senior management professional with over 25 years of experience in high-impact leadership roles within life safety, security, and automation industry in Middle East, Africa, and entire SAARC region. Sir has an extensive hands-on experience around profit center management, strategy and business planning, sales and distribution, channel partner development, account management, etc. Sir is currently the CEO at Videonetics Technologies, which is into algorithm and engine development for intelligent image processing, analytics, and various video-based application developments. Formerly, Sir was Vice President at Reliance Jio Infocom Limited and Regional Director at Honeywell Life Safety. Sir, SITM welcomes you to Communiqué 15.
Next, I would like to call on stage Mr. Amit Marwa, CTO, India Region at Nokia Networks. With over 22 years of professional experience in technology, pre-sales, and business management positions, Sir has an in-depth understanding of the Indian telecommunication market. Sir has held various positions on organizations like Lucent Technologies, Motorola, and Huawei Technologies. Sir's current role in NSN includes technology positing and value-based augmentation that have both internal and interfacing roles, focusing on topics such as network security, technology evolution, standardization, spectrum management, and other 3GPP linked matters. Sir, we once again welcome you to Communiqué 15.
I would now like to invite on stage Mr. Jaydeep Poddar, Vice President at Capgemini. Sir is an accomplished leader in IT software and services industry with an extensive experience in telecom domain, software engineering, and business functions. Sir previously held positions in competency and delivery, practices and thought leadership, business and delivery excellence, strategy and offerings at Tech Mahindra. Sir has worked on product management and marketing, solutions and software architecture, product development and testing at Lucent Technologies, now Alcatel-Lucent. Currently at Capgemini, Sir works as a sector leader and business owner and is responsible for offshore delivery,
Students are requested to remain silent.
Sir, we welcome you to Communiqué 15.
Next, I would like to call on stage Mr. Anurag Valia, Vice President, Tata Communications. Sir is a multifaceted, result-oriented professional having an experience of more than 17 years in ICT space. Sir has handled various roles in areas such as strategic management, sales management, program management, customer acquisition, and solution selling. Over the past few years, Sir has handled various leadership roles in direct sales, channel sales, and program management. Currently, Sir is leading the partnership initiatives for enterprise business at Tata Communications Limited. Sir has contributed to the leading business magazines and industry forums on the smart city subject. Sir has also been involved in various technology and management institutes as a visiting faculty and guest speaker. Sir, we welcome you to Communiqué 15. I would request our moderator, Mr. Kavan Mukhtiar, to please initiate the session.
Okay. Okay, it's working now. So are you awake or sleepy? Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be back on campus. You know, I was remembering my days back at campus and so much fun we had. So, you know, I look forward to hosting this session and giving you some insights as you build your careers in this space. So the topic that we have on discussion is actually, you know, something which is very hot right now. You know, it's being talked about in various forums, right from our political leadership to the industry. So it's about smart cities and sustainable, ecology. So I think the basic question which comes up is, why do we really need smart cities? And Professor Patil mentioned that a little bit in his address, that on one hand, we are talking about all this fancy future, enabled by digital technologies. And on the other hand, we have basic issues like, power outages like we just had, or, even basic drinking water not being available, traffic jams on the road, people not having jobs. Not too far away from where we are, people are actually committing suicides because, they cannot pay debt. Farmer suicides is a big issue. So how do you actually marry these things? On one hand, we are talking about global best practices and leveraging technology. And the question which comes up is, do we really need smart cities, or should we focus on the basics? And, I incidentally lead Frost & Sullivan's smart cities practice, and I get asked this question every time by all my relatives, and wherever social forums that I go to. And I think clearly my response to them is, technology is what is going to help us bring greater accountability in the government delivery system and eventually help the citizens. So yes, we need smart cities, but what is most important is we need to build smart cities with the focus on our citizens and the basic issues that we have. So I think the philosophy and the direction in which our government is pushing things as well is very clearly smart cities is about solving the basic issues that all of us face in our cities. It is about building competitiveness of our cities and therefore the country. And most importantly, it is about making our cities more livable and making our citizens happy and healthy. So I think that is what smart cities is all about, where technology is really going to play the role of an enabler. And I think as folks who are focusing on telecom and technology, I would request all of you that as you make your careers in the world outside, always keep the citizen or the business or the citizen need at the center of what you are developing. Now, I want to take maybe 1 minute to explain what is going to happen in the smart city space in India. So we all know the government, Prime Minister Modi has announced about 100 smart cities. Budgets have been assigned. And right now, these 100 smart cities have been asked to prepare a vision and a smart city plan. So, they are working with various consultants, including Frost & Sullivan, to build these plans and, submit it to the Ministry of Urban Development, central government. So the idea really is, in the past there have been some smart initiatives, but this time the government wants it to be comprehensively and thought through. And smart city is not really going to be about, this, big bang ribbon cutting ceremony. It is a journey. It will take 20 years, 30 years for our cities to become smart. But, what the government's angle is that we should begin with a proper comprehensive plan. So that's the stage that we are in. I think this process will go on for another 18 months or so. Some of those projects will start getting initiated on a pilot basis. Like, for example, on the smart energy side, the previous government also initiated certain pilot projects, including doing smart metering. So some activity has already happened there. Also some initiatives on telemedicine have also been put in place. So this space is going to develop bit by bit, project by project, rather than, with a big bang approach. Finally, I want to take a slightly technology perspective of things. How is this smart city all stacked up? So, it's good to imagine almost like a pyramid. At the bottom of the pyramid, you have the physical infrastructure. On top of that, you have a layer of sensors where, as Mr. Marwa mentioned earlier, everything is going to be connected. So, you can put a sensor maybe in a water pipe, where you want to measure that, hey, where is the leakages happening? You can put sensors there. But how are you going to, take that data that the sensor generates and take it to a central command structure? For that, you need the communication layer. And on top of the communication layer, you need to have an intelligence layer, which means that whatever data that comes back from that water pipe, you need to have the ability to analyze it, develop apps on it, and drive decision making and actions to make our cities better. So imagine that pyramid as we go through this panel discussion. So what I'm going to do today is, invite, first and foremost, Anurag. Anurag, as was introduced, is with Tata Communications, and he is really going to focus on how this communication layer is going to be made available to the citizens, as well as to the cities as we go along. So over to you, Anurag.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Am I audible? Oh, great. So out here, you don't get to know actually whether you're audible or not. So I think everybody tries to confirm that. So I agree with Kevin. The way he kind of simplified the architecture of a smart city from a technology perspective as a pyramid, the communication layer or the telecom layer becomes the very basic layer in a smart city implementation. So what a smart city will need is obviously a lot of data which will move around. And to move that data, you will need connectivity in terms of a high-speed fiber network connecting the key points. And it will also need a data center. It will also need services like Wi-Fi for the end consumers of the applications to connect back. And it will, then on the top of that, it will need these sensors, which will be all connected. The information will get processed in a data center, and then the analytics and the intelligence and all these stuff will get added. I've been lucky in terms of having the opportunity of working along with the GIFT project. And there again, I have seen the same structure being implemented. Right now, the basic layers are already implemented in terms of having a very high-speed gig-level fiber network already in place, having a data center in place. And now is the time when these sensors are getting deployed. So it's not only the structure, but even in terms of implementation, this same hierarchy follows. So that's what I've also seen.
Okay, thanks Anurag. We'll circle back to your experience with GIFT and the rollout plans with GIFT a little bit later. Now I'm going to, invite Mr. Marwa. He is actually, handles all the network communication piece. So you did mention about how the, network guys are planning to ramp up. So, please share with us your view of how things are going to shape up.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah.
So before I start, so Kevin already alluded to this 48,000 crore being allocated for 100, not 100 actually, 98 smart cities which have been announced. The way it's going to work is that there's a competition. Each of these 100 cities will get an allocation of 2 crore from the government. And this will be spent in creating a plan of how they want to implement the smart city. Why I'm saying this is that we are all talking about smart cities. We are all talking about how the business opportunities related to smart cities will come in the future. But there are some people, like on my right, who are already seeing a 200 crore opportunity because this 200 crore, 100 into 2 crores will be spent very fast.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's the first business opportunity out of smart cities. Rest will follow soon. There'll be a competition, and then in the competition, out of 120 cities will be selected for phase 1. And then the next 20 will be phase 2 and so on. So just to, on the lighter side, the 200 crores is what I wanted to get to. Now coming to the connectivity part, which Anurag also touched upon. Yes, we need the fiber connectivity, we need the infra related to it. But the entire connectivity, whether it's smart cities, whether it's linked to IoT, poses a very, very unique challenge. So it's very different from the connectivity that we expect from a 2G, 3G, 4G network today. And the reason is, when I gave my talk, I told you, from 6 billion connections to 50 billion connections in the next 25 years. So what's going to happen is that these connections that come on board necessarily don't need voice or data. most of these connections will need a very limited amount of data, but they will need a large amount of signaling. For instance, if you have smart meters, then all the job that the smart meter needs to do is on the first of every month, just send a SMS or any kind of message to a control center saying that the meter reading is so, and the job is done for the whole month. So similar applications related to IoT will pose a very different, unique challenge in terms of creating a huge amount of signaling into the network. And today's network need to get adapted to that. And what will happen is, or what should happen is that GSM itself needs to evolve in order to handle this. So there will need to be an evolution of GSM as a technology. We are talking about IoT for M, for mobile-to-mobile connectivity. So which means that LT for M, sorry, not IoT, LT for M. So even LT technology or 4G technology for M will be a little different from the current LT technology. So what you need for this is you need a different kind of connectivity. And there are these basic 3 verticals in the connectivity, or 2 verticals, which is connectivity, which includes these technologies, which is, let's say, GSM evolution, which is LTM, which is 5G in the future, which is an optimized core, all encompassing a security angle into it, because it's going to be very critical to make these networks secure. And for this, basically, you need a platform in the center, which is called the application enablement platform, and a connectivity management platform. So there'll be a layer in between these connected networks, 2G, 3G, 4G, in order to enable them to be connected to the higher levels on the application side, as well as on the connectivity side with the sensors. So that is the whole way the evolution of this connectivity will happen when it's dealing with the smart city kind of question. So what does all this lead to? It leads to a couple of challenges. But if I look at this whole concept of smart city, then I would say there are 4 big challenges in my view. Well, number 1 is, yes, 48,000 crore, 100 smart cities, which translates to what, 500 crores a city, giving them 100 crores in year 1, 100 crores in year 2, and so on to 5 years. If you think about it, 500 crores cannot even make a full building in Bombay today. So is this money enough? No. You cannot develop a smart city with 500 crores. So there will have to be alternate means of financing and funding, which will have to be looked at in order to make this into a larger project, if you really want to make it successful. Number 2, the government policies and the way of functioning today. Very bureaucratic, we all know what the challenges we face. That has to change. Things like simple right-of-way. If you have to connect, let's say, install smart meters, you cannot make it into a 5-year project. You need to do it fast if you want to make it work. So right-of-way, access, approvals, clearances, very important. The third is, which I think Anurag also touched upon, the connectivity on the fiber. Fiber in India is not there as much, right? So we have to find some alternate means of connecting these devices of IoT on to alternate means of connectivity. And we'll have to think about how it can suit into India, what India can do about it. But this is another big challenge. And the third and the largest one, and it was triggered from while we were having lunch, I came out and there were these students who were showing me medical IoT. They created a research paper. And I was talking to them, and they said they did a survey into the hospitals. And in those hospitals, the biggest challenge, they surveyed people which were 40 years and beyond. And all of them were very irreceptive of saying that, oh, we'll wear a wearable which will measure my blood pressure. So the mindset has to change, and that has to be a very, very key enabler. So that's how I will conclude mine.
Okay, thank you very much, Amit. So now I'll move on to Arun. Arun is with Videonetics, and he can probably talk about what are all the fun things that one can do with the sort of application layer that sits on top of the communication and with focus on safe cities. Arun.
I wish they were fun things, but this is serious stuff. Okay. Firstly, thank you very much. I was actually heading to another program. The Smart City Things has become so popular today that every other day there is something happening. So I'm part of an association which is fire and life safety. I've spent my career in the life safety industry. I avoided that for a specific reason, because people out there are probably in my age group. They would never live to see a fully fledged smart city. But you guys, you youngsters, you are the nation, the youth of this country, and I can promise you, if anybody will ever see a full-fledged smart city, it'll be you folks. Now, fortunately for me, in my living life, whatever it is, how much ever it is, I am in an industry which right now today, everybody here, if I can pull a fast one on these guys, they're talking futuristic. They're talking about something which we may not live to see. But what business I am in, and thank heavens for that, is I'm in a business which is right now happening in the cities of our country. And let me give you some dramatized used cases. Okay, here's the deal. You walk into Pune airport and you just dropped a bag on the floor and probably went into a conversation with someone and left the bag unattended. In a few minutes, by the time the bag is left unattended, somebody will come and take the bag away. That is the business we are in. We do video management, and video analytics. You walk into an ATM today, you walk into an ATM, you draw out money, your face is captured, recorded. So anytime you're caught in a fraud, it can be played back by the police. Safe cities is the only concept which is now being heavily invested upon, and you can, if you read the newspapers, you will see that Mumbai is probably one of the world's largest safe city projects, with about close to 6,000 now, but approximately 15,000 cameras in every lane, every street, monitoring every piece of information which is available. We finished a project in Indore, and if one of you is driving past a traffic light in Indore and you decide to bump it in the freedom of your youth, bear in mind that if you own the car, or if your dad owns the car, he will get an SMS with a challan in it. And he'll have to pay it using one of those Paytm's, app. So this is the reality of what is happening in our smart world. We just finished a project in Calcutta, which is again reads your number plate of your car, correlates it with the traffic light, and if you bump it, then it sends it goes back and checks the database and sends you a challan, e-challan onto your mobile phone. That is the stuff which is happening, and I'm extremely delighted that we are part of it and we are contributing to it. Just 2 days back, suddenly our, safety, we address the fundamental need of the citizens, which is, health and safety. But surprisingly, just about 2 days back, I saw it in Economic Times, the Ministry of Urban Development sends a message to Ministry of Home that in the whole smart cities piece, please ensure that safe cities money is also adequately spent. Unfortunately, it should have been the other way. You should have been safe first, and then you should have been smarter next. I'm not going to steal the thunder of everybody else, but I'll come back and tell you, life is not so easy for us in this country to implement these projects also. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arun. So now I would like to invite Jaideep. Jaideep has been involved in many projects. You focus on the telecom media sector as well. So what is your holistic view of where do you see this going, and what are the challenges that the country faces in implementation of these smart cities?
Okay, so I'll take can you hear me? I'll take a slightly different view. So I'm sitting right in between two guys who are heavily technology focused. Most people like technology, to talk about technology, but essentially the uptake of technology is always driven by the users behind it. I'm pretty sure that the data uptake that was shown in the survey prevision discussion that happened earlier, that data increase would not have happened without WhatsApp. I think in India especially, I think WhatsApp is probably the most popular tool which has actually driven the data uptake, including videos. One of the things that is important for smart cities and initiatives like that to actually become successful is the user. For the user, it doesn't matter how much fiber you are putting or with what speed the traffic is moving on that, or how many devices it's going to connect. It really doesn't matter. As long as it is solving something, a personal challenge for that person, these smart cities are not going to be drawing users into usage of those smart cities. So primarily, I think the focus should also be where the government is always going to start thinking bottom up. It's going to think roads, it's going to think connectivity, it's going to think infrastructure, and which is all required, obviously. But the uptake will happen from the users. So what does the user want? According to me, smart city means a lot of things to, different things to different people. Primarily, a person wants his health, safety, and they want to secure their life, their quality of life. And essentially, that's what it boils down to. How can they execute the responsibilities that they have in an efficient manner? How can they spend time at office? How can they spend more time at home? How can they move between the two in a very seamless fashion? And that is, I think, what the marketing of smart cities has to be. It's not like smart cities, I think, is a new concept. I think Jamshedpur, which started so many 100 years ago, is as good a smart city that you can. It had a hospital, it has schools, it has tennis courts, it has a complete lifestyle for people who stayed there. And just extending from what Arun just said, where the government is issuing us tickets, in Mumbai especially, I would like the citizen to issue a ticket when my car goes through a pothole. Maybe his video surveillance can look at the potholes and decide there are 10 potholes and send a challan to the government or to Mr. Modi. and that money that is generated should be sent back to the local government. Or that particular road, the users of that road should get that money that they are penalizing the government for. Maybe they can build the road. Secondly, that is really where my thoughts are, is that the data that he talked about that is getting collected, it has to mean something. If I'm able to tell, after the fraud is committed, then looking for the guy, you're already seen the recent news on what is happening, and it's the fraud and the crime is going to get more and more complex, as you can tell from the case that is going on. But it's not only about after the fact. It's about, can I analyze the data that is being collected, even on the streets, whether there is a riot going to be forming, whether there is a safety problem that is going to happen on a particular road. Maybe the video surveillance catches that there are few females walking on that road alone, and maybe the light density of that road is a little bit less. So it should calculate the risk factor on that and then actually trigger some actions on the police or the government to actually manage it proactively, as opposed to the incident happening and then people looking for the film footage to see what happened. So I think those are the types of things that these smart cities will have to drive. Anyway, these days we are already paying our bills automatically. I don't even see the bills, it automatically gets out of my bank account. We only see it afterwards. So all these things are automatically happening. The biggest advantage, I believe, of this initiative of smart cities, though they are deploying for 100 cities, I hope that the remaining number of cities that we have, minus the 100, will actually advance faster than the smart city. Because we are already using quite a bit of that. And that competition is, I think, what the government is also looking for, is how do we create that between different cities to themselves start becoming smarter. As it is, if you look at Mumbai or if you even Pune, Magarpatta is probably as good as a smart city you can get in Pune. A lot of townships are happening. Hinjewadi, which is right across, is now starting to put residential towers. So all of that is happening, and they will compete with the smart cities, according to me. So the smart cities will drive this technology and the innovation that is required for the remainder of the cities is what my hope is.
Okay, thanks, Jaideep. So I'll move now to Kalol, who's an independent consultant in the space. So yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Kavan. I think I'll take over from where Jaideep left. And also Amit touched upon is, I don't come from a city which is in the designated 98 cities, which is a city called Bangalore. They are not part of the 98, so no business for Kavan, sorry. 2 crores gone. And for the network providers also right now. But it has its own challenges. We have, right now, as we speak, we have 4 hours of power cut every day. So work from home has become troublesome. So everybody's rushing to office today, nowadays, because 4 hours the generator conks out and there's no battery in the UPS. So that is one. Traffic conditions, it took me 1.5 hours to reach the campus from the airport yesterday. So I was telling, the lady who was accompanying me that it's as good as or as bad as Bangalore. When you have to cross Silk Board, it takes 20 minutes actually on the average to go for commuting to work. So that's the state of smart city we have. And we are running a campaign on radio, which is called Radio Fever FM, Ho Jao Left, Ambulance First. So basically, they are actually trying to bring in the concept of giving way to ambulances in traffic jams. And that has got in a, it's actually going viral. So a lot of people are actually moving out and giving way. So that concept of smart city need not be, I would say, started from scratch. There are certain parts of it which we are doing, certain parts of it needs improvement. And obviously, if you're doing a greenfield project like GIFT, which he mentioned, there are whole new things which you can do upfront and segregate areas like office areas and all that. But taking off from what Jaideep said, that all that is fine, but how do we run and maintain that smart city? So metering becomes very important, and billing is one concept which is different for smart cities, because now you have to integrate sensors, data coming out from sensors, which are either on Wi-Fi or Zigbee or new interface called BLE, and how do you, tolerate the noise levels on those sensors and make sure they're providing the right set of data. So there are technologies which are coming out. There are billing solutions which are getting evolved, and all these have to be deployed in a SaaS model, because software as a service will be the way to go, as smart cities will utilize that to build the end user, which is the consumer, and generate money to run it as a smart city. So having said that, there are challenges there. The traditional billing system is going away. There are new billing systems which are coming, and the new billing systems can evolve over time to, interact with the video feeds and all that stuff which they're providing, and also collect the mobile payments which was alluded to. Just to take on Arun and what he explained about safe city, I think I'll end with one experience of mine. I don't know whether you've done the Bangalore airport or some of your competitors have done it. My wife and I, we traveled from UK and landed in Bangalore airport early in the morning. And for some reason, my wife left her laptop bag in the near the carousel. We walked out of the airport, and lo and behold, I wanted to use technology, and British Airways was actually issuing mobile boarding passes in London. When I boarded, I didn't have paper, so I had mobile boarding pass, and it was on my phone. In my iPhone, it came as a, as a passbook entry. So everywhere it worked. When I boarded in London, there's a QR code. They scan the QR code, you get in. If you buy stuff at duty free, they scan your QR code, it works fine. The trouble started when I wanted to go into the airport to retrieve the bag. The guy at the gate, the security guy, he says, no, this will not work. I need a paper boarding pass that you have traveled. So I said, I don't have one. This is the paper, this is the boarding pass, and this is my passport. So you can stamp the date, see the date. He will not allow. So fortunately, there was a young security guy, very young security guy. And he told his uncle, I will call it his uncle, and he referred to his, the other seminar where people will not listen to him. It is true, Arun. So he said, Sab, ye chalega, ye aajkal hota hai. This will work. It happens now. So that helped me to get in. So the point I'm trying to make is, if that young guy was not there, I couldn't have retrieved my bag because they were not allowing me in. And by the way, Arun, there were dogs already waiting there, sniffer dogs. So near the bag, and they were actually abusing me. Why did you leave it behind? so that's
Glad they didn't say, pick up your bag and put you behind bars. We left it for a long time.
Correct. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that, with smart city, we need to have a whole lot of education associated with it. There will be people, young people like you all, there'll be old people like us, and there'll be older people who will be manning some of these points, who need to be retrained. Actually, retraining is not the right word, who need to unlearn things and learn new things. That's the way the, things work. And if you are not adapting to the new technologies, then I don't know how smart cities will function, because you will not have a parking guy to give you a token and all that stuff. You will not have, somebody sending you paper bills, electricity, water, and so on and so forth. And I think Rahul can talk about his Dubai experience around this. But there is a need for changing attitude, there's a need for changing mindset, and there's a need for changing the entire environment we operate in. Thanks, Kavan.
Thanks a lot, Kalol. So over to you, Rahul, to share with us your Dubai experience. And I think Dubai pretty much, if you look at the global scenario, can really be considered as a smart city in addition to Singapore. So how does things work there, and what can India learn from the Dubai experience?
Correct. So I want to take this a little on a different track from what solutions can be done in India to give you actually a real world working examples of how smart solutions are deployed, how smart solutions are actually helping citizens. In a country just 3 hours flight from here, you can get there before you can get to Delhi. So for me, smart city initiative in 3 flights a day. So to me, smart city initiatives and the programs in India actually give 2 opportunities. One, the solutions that are to be designed around these smart city initiatives are not only going to be meant for big businesses like Infosys and the other big guys, but you will see equal opportunities or even bigger opportunities for startups, entrepreneurs, for people, all of you sitting out there, to be one of them in the next year to come. The second opportunity is the time frame when India is actually implementing this. One may look at it saying that India is a little late in the game, but that's, to me, an advantage, because you see globally, a lot of big cities have already embarked on this plan about 3 years, 4 years ago. So as smart people, we need to look at them, we need to learn from them, and we need to adopt from them. So smart city really, based in Dubai, we have a lot of implementers of smart cities around the globe coming in every month, and forums discussing how they did it, what we can do in Dubai, what went wrong, and these kind of things. So what I realized is smart city as a word means different things to different countries, okay? But there is some common fabric around which smart city solutions around the world are being designed. One of them is livability of its citizens. The second one is government transformation. And the third is economic growth. So most of the plans, and I guess including India's plans, are being built around these 3 in different aspects depending upon where the country is. Now, where does the plan start? Dubai's plan started about a few years ago with one of the most fundamentally important things in this aspect, which is a visionary leadership, which is committed to doing and implementing this program. As you guys may have heard already about the leadership of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed, he, few years ago, called his team and said, I want Dubai not to be a smart city, I want Dubai to be the smartest city, okay? And he sent the guys back. So people started working around, how can we do this, kya kar sakte hai? So all the technology guys, the operators, when they came back to the next meeting, they thought technology is the answer for everything. But one of the things that technology is the answer, correct, but what is the question? Do you know the question? What are you trying to solve? So we have to really look at the basic thing. So in that session, Sheikh Mohammed gave another clue. He said, I want to make Dubai the happiest city in the world. So now you go and develop solutions where these citizens are going to live a happiest life anywhere around the world. So the stories can go on and on, but I'm going to cut short and give you some practical examples to problems that Indian cities faced and how they have been actually addressed back in Dubai. So let's take the traffic problem. I guess this is the number 1 problem most of Indian cities are facing. One of the solutions that was developed almost 3 to 4 years ago was a smart toll. Smart toll is, I still, every time coming from Bombay, Pune, I see this Thane bridge, you have to wait for half an hour. half an hour is lost just in the toll bridge. Some VIPs come, go straight away. So smart toll system was put. It's called Salik about 3-4 years ago, I think, across Dubai, and it's expanding. What it does is basically directly debits your account every time you pass, and you have a infrared, not infrared, it's a RFID-based chip on every car. Where compulsorily you have to take that chip. So every time you pass that toll gate, it directly debits your 4 dirhams of it. So there's seamless flow of traffic. Every time you stop at a toll gate, you're adding to the car, CO2 emission also. The second is intelligent signals. This one is a recent one where just about 6 months ago, they put in sensors across town. These sensors are actually monitoring the flow of traffic at different times of the day, different days of the week. And based on these inputs and intelligent analysis of these inputs, there is intelligent programming of signals. So today, if you go in at an intersection and you have a stop sign, sometime during the night, say, you have a stop sign and you stop for your turn, then if there is nobody on your left, nobody on your right, then you don't need to wait. The signal turns green again. So these are the basic things which can improve the quality of life, simple things that will give a better experience for the citizens. I think he already mentioned Indore implementing this, but the speed cameras is something Dubai implemented also a long time ago. And the challans come in, there the money is directly debited. So there's no challan, whether you pay or you don't pay is not an option. Okay. Then more of these, the second part is also about sustainability. Okay. Green taxis are being introduced. Green buses are being introduced. Parking is another initiative which has been in the focus. There has been some statistics saying that 40% of traffic jams are caused because people are actually slowing down and looking for parking. So what can you do about it? Can you not know whether there is a parking available across the lane? So Dubai is now experimenting, and in fact my company is involved in this trial solution deployment, where we are actually putting in a limited segment parking sensors all over. So you can actually intelligently find out on your mobile phone where the parking is available. One step beyond that, in malls, the solution actually says that because Dubai is all about malls, and the only recreation you can do is watch cinema. So another dreaded thing for us to go to cinemas is, will I get parking in the mall, So you can actually, now when you book your cinema ticket, you can actually book your parking spot also by paying some money. And I heard one of the group of students here also had this concept thought about, and it's wonderful. The second important aspect about Dubai is tourism. Okay, so the vision also said that, yes, I need to do something for the citizens living here, but my economy runs on tourism. I need to do something for the tourists coming in also. See, so few initiatives that were deployed is, a couple of years ago, you had to have this pink copy of visa which had to be couriered or deposited at the airport, and then you have big lines to pick up that pink copy, then you have bigger lines at the immigration. So now that is all done with, and you have electronic visas which you can even show on your phone and get out of it. You have something called as the e-gate, where you don't actually need to stand in immigration lines anymore. So you have a chip-based card and your fingerprinting, so you just go fingerprint, authenticate yourself, and walk through the immigration line. So this takes care of people who are coming in. What about people going out? Dubai it's actually Abu Dhabi, not Dubai. They worked with the US government to deploy a solution, first of its kind, I believe, that a nightmare for people traveling into New York is when you land into New York, you have to wait almost an hour or 2 hours for the immigration lines. So Abu Dhabi actually bought the immigration counter of US into Abu Dhabi airport, because once you sit in the airplane, where else can you go? So the immigration is actually processed in Abu Dhabi itself, which is 1/10 of the time, and you walk off as a domestic airport once you land in the US. The other new innovative thing that is coming in is, again for tourists, is now you can actually check in for your flight sitting in your taxi. So you're taking the taxi, going to the airport, you can actually complete your check-in process and have your boarding pass electronically by the time you actually reach the airport. Another initiative that is they are thinking, not yet implemented, is why do we need airline check-in and another immigrations check-in. What different information is being collected? So now they are thinking of Dubai airport implementing a complete elimination of immigration as a concept. So they're going to give all this, whatever needs to be collected in the hands of the airlines and with appropriate checks, I'm sure. And when you do your baggage check-in and boarding, you can actually do your immigrations also. So they're eliminating steps which are actually pain to day-to-day life of citizens. And so there's a lot of things happening right next door to us, which we can look at. But also there are some catches when we are only looking and trying to adopt. One of the catches is that we have to.
Sorry, Rahul, we have about 4 or 5 minutes left, and I wanted to take a few questions. So if you can conclude.
Sure. So anyway, then I'll just wrap it up saying that. So Dubai, we will see basically transform into the smartest city by 2020 as the vision is, and I'm sure a lot is to be learned from this place very near to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rahul. I think that was a really interesting perspective, and we all hope that our cities will go the Dubai way as well. I want to just pose one question to the panelists and then go to the floor and see if there are any questions. As I see, one of the biggest challenges for smart city implementation is the capabilities that we have in the urban local bodies, and the capabilities that exist in the government. So, I would like to ask this question to you, Arun. You've experienced some of the execution of the projects. So what is your take on, the capacity at the government end to implement some of these things, and what should we do as a country to supplement and enhance that capacity?
So let me give you a quick answer. After all these years in this industry, I believe that God lives in India. He doesn't live anywhere else, because the way we implement and take care of our fundamental need of safety and security, it's a kind of a disaster. It took us so many years and a scary Nirbhaya accident to realize that our buses need video to prevent such kind of an act. Now, quickly, the issues with this industry is fundamentally lies between the stakeholders. First is the government, extremely poor involvement in terms of decision making, in terms of funding, in terms of prioritizing the health and safety needs unless something disastrous happens. Okay? In terms of citizens, including you and me, what he said is our attitude. We get up in the morning, hey Bhagwan, hamari suraksha karna, get out, get into the car and don't put a seat belt. And then you say, Bhagwan, hamara, So, please make sure that we are stakeholders of the smart city. So as citizens, we are equally responsible. It's not government's job. Government is also run by people like you and me. They need to change their attitude to make sure there is funds available, there is proper implementation, there is timely implementation. The Mumbai Safe City project was actually initiated because of that September 26th, that Taj event. I don't know what the date is, but the Taj, 2611, yeah, 2611. And it took 3 rebids over 4 years to actually finalize the contract. We guys are never going to be serious about it. So please bear in mind, you guys are nation builders. Go back when you get into the business of corporates, fundamentally demand safety and believe in it, that you have to have the attitude to follow it.
Okay. Thanks, Arun. One of the other points he mentioned was about funding. So, coming to you, Anurag, especially with GIFT, we know somehow we evolved a funding mechanism. Can you share with us what happened with GIFT? How did it actually work on the ground, and how do you see that template getting replicated in other cities?
Sure. So GIFT is a joint venture of ILFS and GUDC, so which again talks about a private company and a government entity coming together and creating the joint vision for a city like GIFT. Beyond that, the way these guys have planned it, they are kind of getting companies to run services. So they are not going to run services. They are outsourcing everything to companies which are have the required skill sets to run services. For example, we are the ICT service provider in GIFT. So we have the mandate to run ICT services. We build the infrastructure. We invest in that. And then we have worked out revenue models, which will ensure that we will also make out money. It might not be like a normal business case. It has long gestation periods. But yes, to compensate that, they award long-term concessions. So our concession as a company is for a period of 15 years. So with these long-term concessions, you can invite private companies to come and invest in GIFT. They're also inviting builders to come, take land, build buildings as per the standards laid out by GIFT, so that each and every building follows the norms of a smart city. And then these builders comes and invests in GIFT, and then they sell it to the end customers who moves in either as a business customer or as a residential user. So finally, what you see is that it's a joint government, in fact, it's a government initiative funded by private companies, and you will see a lot of private investment coming in the GIFT. And the same thing is going to be with these 100 smart cities as well. It's a government initiative. They are doing the basic funding or the initial funding, but finally to be able to run these projects, make these cities really smart, there will be a lot of private funding which will have to come in forms of the PPP models. And there will be revenue models which will have to be worked out. In fact, we feel challenged on some of the fronts where there are services which can be deployed, but we are not able to deploy them because of lack of a revenue model. So we look forward to those kind of revenue models coming, which will encourage private companies to come and invest. And that's the way it's going to move everywhere.
Okay, thanks, Anurag. Well, last question from my end, and then I'll open the floor to Amit. You know, when we are getting everything connected, you know, one of the scariest thing would be our systems get hacked into and, run a havoc. So how do you see this panning out? What kind of network security solutions, and how should governments plan about this?
Yeah, I think with IoT, with LTE, with 5G, the biggest threat that we see on networks today, much more relevant than compared to 2G and 3G, is security. And the fundamental reason for that is that everything is moving to all IP. As soon as you get into an all IP domain, there are vulnerabilities in the system that need to be addressed. So a couple of things happening on that front. One is, I think the Indian government, at least from a Ministry of Telecom and DOT perspective, they are taking some of the first steps generally happening across the world. For instance, they said that for the first time, networks need to go through security audits. Okay, this is already going on for the last 1.5 years. A very positive step. Security audit basically means that every place where there is a possibility of leakage, or where there are these open IP ports where there is a potential to hack, have it audited through an independent consultant and see whether those vulnerabilities, and there could be very simple vulnerabilities there by just putting a firewall or just putting a certain software or blocking certain ports, that you can get rid of it. It is as simple as that a fundamental MSC site where if somebody enters, is he doing his access control properly? If somebody is logging on to the network, is that logging out being processed with a single user ID? So a lot of steps happening on that. So that is on the softer side of network audits. On top of that, also what is happening is that there is a regulation which is going to come into force very soon, where they are saying that every product that gets inserted into the Indian telecom networks need to go through a security certification by a lab which is set up in India. So that means the product will have to be taken. What needs to be tested is something which is work in progress. But by April 1st next year, products which get shipped into India will first have to pass a certification in that lab against certain security standards and said that this is safe to connect for Indian use. I know these are very, very big topics, but at least a beginning has been made. And on top of that, when LT comes in the future, I think from all perspective, from the technology perspective, the security is one of the highest topic which is being addressed with additional solutions, whether it's additional software or hardware inside the boxes that we produce, whereby at least things are moving in the right direction.
Okay.
So few numbers I will tell you. So we did not talk about the ecology, though we talked about smart cities. So just few numbers I will throw at you. it is said that about 2% of the world's land will actually consume 75% of its resources, because about 60% of the world population will actually be living in cities by 2050. The 200 crores that he talked about, that is the investment that is happening in India on the 100 cities. But the IoT and M2M market is about $1 trillion by the time, by the next 5 to 7 years. So there is a lot of money to be tapped into from the applications and the innovation point of view. And as youngsters that you are all sitting here, you guys don't have to wait until we are in our graves, or 10 years from now. There is a lot of things that you can implement now that can, some people definitely want to live much longer. and that is one of the applications maybe you guys should write for health monitoring. Something that I always want to know is whether the milk I'm drinking or the water I'm drinking or the bhel that I'm eating, can I have some application on my mobile that tells me the quality of the bhel puri wala? So would you like that? So something like that is going to drive the services and the users. So I think about that. There's a lot of money globally to be spent on this, not only restricted to the investments that are happening in India.
Okay, thank you so much. I just got a note that we ran out of time, and I'm going to take this opportunity to very quickly conclude. I think we had some very, very interesting perspectives shared. Beginning first with Anurag, I think it's very clear that the role that a communication service provider is going to, telecom service provider is going to play is going to be very, very crucial. He talked about the various funding models. I think that is really the key. For smart cities to be successful in India, we have to evolve the right kind of Indian version of the funding models, which will work in the Indian context. Of course, Amit, talked about how, the network piece and the application management and the connectivity management, those are the two pieces which will help, the network reliability go up, and how, more emerging technologies, rather more evolved technologies are going to be deployed, including 5G. I think one of the big factors that Arun mentioned, about video analytics and how safe cities is pretty much, in the context of smart cities, is really leading the pack in terms of actual use cases on the ground. There is, actual action happening, and a lot of investments are going to flow through. So that makes us all feel very good. Of course, Kallol also gave a very, very interesting perspective on the human element, and the smart angle to it. Jaideep also, very in a very hilarious manner brought about various discussions regarding health, safety, quality of life. Rahul shared with us the Dubai example and how we can adapt. I think in conclusion, what really I would like to say is smart cities are really of the citizens, by the citizens, and for the citizens. And it is not just up to the governments to play it out, but it is for all of us, whether we are entrepreneurs or we become part of the government, or we are communication providers, or whatever part of the value chain we are in. We have to participate in this movement or a mission, as I would say, and make our cities in India more livable. And at least by the end of our lifetime, hopefully Mumbai or Pune will be as good as Dubai. So with that, thank you very much for your attention and participation. Thank you. She said time up. So okay, she says we can have some questions, right?
We can have few questions from the audience if they would like.
Okay, we can take a few questions, if any.
There's one right there.
Okay, we'll need a microphone there.
let us consider that we have converted our country, मतलब हमने smart city बना ली है, पर लोगों को पता ही नहीं चलता कि वो कैसे use करने. हम उनको technical सब देंगे facilities, पर उनको पता ही नहीं चलता कि कैसे use करने. तो वो मतलब उसका प्रॉपर यूज़ नहीं करते, इसलिए स्मार्ट सिटीज़ करके वो मेंटेन कैसा करने का वो हम बता सकते हैं क्या? मतलब ऐसा कुछ प्रोविज़न किया है क्या कि हम उनको वो नॉलेज दे सकते हैं कि हम वो कैसे मेंटेन कर सकते हैं? क्योंकि इंडियन मेंटालिटी वैसी है कि अगर हमने बोला कि यहाँ पे कचरा नहीं डालने का, तो दूसरे दिन वहाँ पे कचरा आ जाता है. इसलिए क्या ऐसा गवर्नमेंट ने कोई प्रोविजन किया है क्या कि ऐसे नॉलेज देने का? क्योंकि वो मेंटेन करना भी चाहिए अगर हमें कंपटीशन में रहना है वर्ल्ड में.
So you want to take that?
And that is exactly what I was trying to say, that it has to be driven by the use case. So we should always follow the other way. So we should tell people, put garbage here, which means they will not put it there. So that is the fastest solution I can give you. So, and that's what Arun talked about, the attitude. But keep in mind that the smart cities is not only about quality of life, it is also about the quality of the planet. One of the things that I read was that if the US actually moves completely to LED, if they move all their lighting to LED, there will be about 84, it is equal to, the savings is equal to about 84 power stations that will not be needed. It's equivalent of about $170 billion of savings. So if India, obviously, he mentioned that we are always behind, we always move 2 steps and move 1 step back, which is to our advantage sometimes. We moved from landline directly into mobile. So something like that, we go into the LED, in the newer technologies, we can do a lot of savings. We can save the planet for the future. And I think it's very important for people now and the youngsters who are thinking about this, like what she said. What are the use cases? Health monitoring. I would like to know telemedicine. So what is the hospital situation today? A lot of patients go to the hospitals, which can be avoided by the doctors themselves getting the feeds from the patient from the home and giving him some basic medicines to not have to come into the hospital. So a lot of these things can be done. Wi-Fi offload, for example, if it is done everywhere, the bandwidth crunch that is happening in India on the networks can dramatically reduce. So these are small innovations that can happen not only in smart cities, but think about smart cities as incubators for these type of things to be taken outside into the other realms.
I think जो आपने बोला बिल्कुल सही है, but एक चीज़ उसमें मैं ऐड करना चाहूँगा कि आपने जब पहली बार ऑनलाइन बैंकिंग ये शॉपिंग शुरू हुई थी, उसको यूज़ करने में कितना टाइम लिया? मैंने उसको यूज़ करने में 6 महीने लिए, बिकॉज मेरे पास कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं था कि पता नहीं प्रोडक्ट आएगा, ठीक आएगा कि नहीं, टाइम से आएगा कि नहीं, ओरिजिनल है कि नहीं. बट एक बार जब यूज़ करना शुरू किया, उसके बाद बार बार किया. सो सेम थिंग विल हैपन विद दिस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. अगर आपके कोई रिश्तेदार हैं या कोई फ्रेंड्स हैं, वो बोलेंगे कि ये मैंने एक स्मार्ट डिवाइस पहना हुआ है, इससे मेरा ब्लड प्रेशर अपने आप रिकॉर्ड होता है, और देखो मेरे को हार्ट अटैक होने वाला था, मैं बच गया, तो इट विल गो थ्रू वर्ड ऑफ माउथ.
Just a quick one, आपकी जानकारी के लिए, very less awareness is there, but बॉम्बे के पास आज garbage disposable system आया है, pilot run हो रहा है, और अगली जैसे आपका डस्टबिन भर गया तो ऑटोमेटिकली सिग्नल आ जाएगा, वो पिकअप हो जाएगा. अगली बार शायद ये भी होगा, अगर सड़क पे फेंकोगे तो वीडियो आपका कैप्चर करके घर पे चलान
Yeah, excellent. Any other?
Thank you very much
question?
for giving citizens lots of channels, right? So please innovate and write something that we can send challenge to the government.
Yeah, one last question before we end.
A very good afternoon to the panel. My name is Vivek, and we discussed about Dubai as the centerpiece for a smart city. There was this report that appeared from TM Forum, which said that there were some equipments that were installed at every point of sale, so that you could measure the happiness of people living there, and then that could be worked upon for increasing the livability of a city. So could you please elaborate more on that?
Yeah, like I said, like I said, the vision that was put in is to make the happiest city in the world. So now how do you actually see whether are we going in that direction or are we not? There is no measure to see, you know, is everybody smiling or what? So what they are doing is from the airports to wherever the customer touches, they've put simple touch screen panels. Okay, from a smiling face to a very smiling face to a not to a sad face. So as you are completing your experience, you are actually inputting this data. So it's almost become like a IoT device here, where this data is being collected and trends being analyzed to see whether we are going in the right direction or no. No, Challan system is actually, there was a question about where do we get the money to fund this? And Challan is where we get the money to fund this. You know? That's how Dubai works.
So now we have a new funding model of cities, smart cities by Challan.
You don't need a billing system.
That will be all.
That was indeed an enlightening and interesting session, covering all possible perspectives. Surely, the audience has gained deeper insights into the topic. We would like to thank our panel members who have joined us and would now request our colleagues to felicitate the panel members with mementos as a token of our gratitude and appreciation.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's heavy.
We now request our panel members to kindly take their seats amongst the audience.